Well, great to see everybody. Feels like forever ago that we played. I just asked Brian go through the last game with me, so it's been a while. Recap, UConn, man, obviously didn't play incredibly well offensively for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter found a way to come back and win, which is another step in our growth. Now we got to clean up the first 3. You know, I feel like every time you clean up one area, you feel like you're letting another one go. That's been the biggest challenge for us, is putting it all together. Special teams, offense, defense, us all playing in sync. I thought for the first time this year, we were able to play complementary football in terms of punting the football, holding people, getting the ball back, playing field position to a point. So really good to get out of there with a win, really good to get a road win, come back. We spent last week, the bye week, we had a light practice on Tuesday, had a normal Tuesday practice on Wednesday, and then had another light practice on Thursday. Emphasis was us fixing us, fundamentals, technique, going back to a lot of basics. We needed the bye week, 1, to get healthy, 2, to really hone in on what are we really doing well, what are we not, get better at what we're not, clean up what we're doing well, and then also use it to get ahead on Memphis. As you look at Memphis, you know, a team that for the last 10 years has been really at the top of our league, has had elite success, has had moderate success, but has had success. Those guys know how to win. They've been in a bunch of close games and have found ways to win. Going on the road in conference to a really cool venue against a really good football team. So offensively for them, you know, they're super efficient. They've been really efficient. They've run the ball effectively for a really long time. They've continued to evolve and really focus on what their personnel is, have become more of an 11 personnel team, and run the ball incredibly well, have a special quarterback, a young guy that just knows how to win, really good up front, and then, you know, as good a skill as we've seen on the perimeter. Defensively present a bunch of challenges, I think really well coached, and they play really hard. Schematically different, pressure a lot. We're going to have to go handle that, especially on the road, and be able to go turn the pressure into points. So really good challenge for us. Glad we had an extra week. I guess the part I missed at the end of the week last week, we went out and recruited Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which we needed that as well. A bunch of guys that we've got committed, we needed to go see. A bunch of guys that we're trying to make decisions on, we need to go see. And I think that's going really, really well right now in terms of us being able to sell our vision, being able to sell a product on the field that obviously has improved and needs to continue to improve, and then being able to sell what we're building here just on the other side of the indoor and what's coming here in the next couple of years. So that's where we are. Excited. Tuesday practice, I thought today was good to get the guys back after the weekend. I think they were excited to get back, kind of caught their breath a little bit. I think the coaches got to catch their breath a little bit as much as they could with several red-eye flights on Saturday, but we'll rest when it's time to rest. So I'll take questions.
Coach, in your mind, did the bye week happen when you wanted it to, as opposed to maybe earlier or later?
Yeah, I got no idea. I think it happened when it was scheduled, and we set up our schedule around it.
Coach, when you look at Memphis, you're looking at a team that's been in this conference for so long. Can you go back and glean anything off of former tapes, or is this a whole new season?
Well, the staff had been together, so obviously you look at last year, you look at common offenses, common defenses to see what a guy's DNA is. I think the extra week helps you do that. But they've done a really good job of centering both sides of the ball around their personnel. I do think they've changed quite a bit from a year ago on both sides of the ball. I think a quarterback that's a year older, I think the skill has really come to fruition for them offensively. And then defensively, I don't know that they've wholesale changed, but they've changed. They've put more speed on the field. So you look back at last year to see what somebody's DNA looks like, especially situationally. I think that part never changes in terms of what you do in situational football. But you could see the jump they've made. You know, a year ago, I don't know that it was as confident of a group, at least watching it on film. The close games got them. Now, a year older, a year more mature, a year more in the defensive scheme, a year more in the offensive scheme, now they're pulling those games out. So you see a more mature football team. But absolutely, you go back and you study what people have done.
You look at that team, too, a lot of stability at the quarterback position over the years between Brady White, and then after he graduated, Hennigan was a system guy, been around. What makes Hennigan, you know, a tough guy to defend?
Yeah, super efficient. You know, he doesn't make a ton of mistakes. You could see there's confidence in there because they allow him to get him in the right plays. They allow him to check plays. They allow him to get the right run checks in. You look at the RPO game, he makes elite decisions in the RPO game. That's how you know a quarterback's confident. His eyes are always in the right spot. Again, you got a junior who's played a bunch of football, been in the system. You could see the confidence in him. That more than anything, he's got a skill set, obviously, but more than anything, you know, the last drive of the North Texas game a week ago, like so telling, 45 seconds or whatever it was on the clock, no timeouts. And I watched that on TV on Saturday, and then you watch the film, like, takes the field like, man, like, I've been here before. So, because he has. And so when you've been there before, you've got innate confidence in the offensive line and the skill spots. That part, that's what's impressive about him. And challenge to us to go affect him and get him out of his game. That's the name of the game, is can you affect the quarterback and make him make bad decisions.
Alex, Sean Atkins, he's been one constant in the offense all season, his effort and his production and all that. If you could talk about him, what he brings to the team overall, not just production-wise, but as a young man who was a walk-on and really never gave up, and look at him now. You know.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. That has been the one consistent piece offensively. I feel like we've played with so many pieces offensively. We've moved guys around. We've played different guys. Injuries have forced that. But he's been, knock on wood, if anybody's got any wood to knock on, that he has been, thank you, he's been steady. He's reliable. And I think that's the one thing we saw this spring. You saw it on film from a year ago. His role was just really was really small, but you saw in some critical situations, he made a ton of plays. You think back to like the 2-point play against Florida a year ago. Like, he had the ball in his hands. You know, so obviously for the previous staff, he was that as well. Why he didn't play more, obviously I have no idea. But when we got here, you saw a young man that has got just so much confidence in his ability. And for a guy that was a walk-on, for a guy that in a lot of ways doesn't look the part, man, he is dynamic. He's dynamic getting open. He's dynamic catching the football. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He can do a lot of things, was a high school quarterback. Like, he is a guy that you know he'll be in the right spot at the right time. And if he's not in the right spot at the right time, he's trying to make something happen. He's caught a bunch of balls off of scrambles. He's just steady. And we have empowered him because of the way he works and the way he attacks his process. And he's still, I think, got a long way to go in terms of being a complete player. Because I think this is the first time in his career where he's like, all right, man, like, he looks around, he's like, they're counting on me. And, you know, he missed most of the spring with a shoulder and missed the entire summer with the shoulder. He didn't get hit the entire time in camp coming off the shoulder. So, like, everything you see from him, he just continues to get better every single week because he continues to see pictures. He continues to gain more confidence. I think more than anything, Byram's got a ton of confidence in him. He exudes confidence, but he's earned the right to exude confidence because of the way he works and then obviously the way he performs. And you can see the catch number just continues to go up every week. And so obviously he's a guy you got to go to. He's also a guy that defensively draws attention at this point. So it's allowed other guys to get open. And for us offensively to take the next step, we need consistency. Like, there have been times where we've looked as good as any offense in the country, and there have been times, for example, 3 quarters last week where we looked like, man, like what exactly is happening here, you know? And so when you do what we do offensively, it helps you when you know where bodies are, where they're going to be, and consistency within the structure of the system, so the quarterback constantly knows where bodies are going to be. And we haven't had that except for him. And so we've got to hope now these last 4 games we take another step in terms of where everybody else is like Sean in terms of not hurt, in terms of where they're going to be, timing, ball placement, all of that can be more consistent.
For the veteran players who've been here, there have been a long time, been years since they've won a road game. Now you have 2. So as you prepare for this road game, do you think there's been some confidence, belief in the process, whatever, that has this group more equipped to go out and take care of business and win on the road that didn't exist a few months ago?
Yeah, I don't know. I think what enables confidence is literally what I just told these guys. What enables guys to have confidence is what they put into it. Process, how they prepare, what they do throughout a week. I think whether you're on the road or at home, I don't know that super matters. Sometimes I feel like being on the road takes some distractions out of it. I know it sounds crazy. Obviously, you love being at home. You love the home fans. You like the crowd noise. You like all of that. But I feel like we've almost rallied at times better on the road because it's like it's us and it's nobody else and it's whatever 150 guys and gals that are in the travel party and you go. So in a lot of ways, I don't know that they care. I think everything's so different for them. Everything's happening really fast for them. And so I think they're just week to week. I think us as coaches, week to week in terms of what's next. So I don't know about, I think maybe on the outside it's like, man, like they've come over this hurdle or that hurdle or this hurdle or that hurdle. I know this is a really good football team, whether they're better or not than somebody else we played on the road. This is a really good football team. They play well at home. They've found ways to win on the road. So I don't know. I guess I don't put just a ton of stock into it. Schedule adjusts. We try to keep our process so consistent, even as far as, we're going to play on Central Time, where bed check at home is 10 p.m. There it'll be 9 p.m. Central, so it's 10 p.m. like it is here. Breakfast is normally at 8:30. Well, there it'll be at 7:30. Trying to keep our clock and our process identical, so that way as we go back and look at it and tweak things, it's all consistent. So I don't know, different hotel obviously and different environment. And I'm not trying to minimize the wins on the road. I just think it's all, I don't know, the same in a lot of ways.
Coach, you've seen a couple of come from behind wins now this season. Was that just a product of those individual games, or is there something where your team is down late and say, we're not out of it yet?
I think it's truly a next play mentality. I know you've heard me say that before. Like you come in and you inherit a program where there is obviously no confidence, there's no stability, there's no structure. The word that's overused but is true is culture. Like there's ups and downs, and the ups are really high and the downs are really low. And I think everybody looks at me like I'm crazy when after a win I just say, man, like it was a result of what the week was, because it was. And because all I'm trying to do is create stability. I'm trying to lay a foundation for being able to handle being up, being able to handle being down. Because if you're this roller coaster of emotions constantly, it's really, really hard to even know where the issues are. And so try to be the same in every single thing that we're doing and truly have a next play mentality. So whether we're up or we're down, it doesn't really matter. You just play the next play and execute the next play. The play that's called, the play you've practiced over and over again, go execute it at a high clip. Obviously, situations change in terms of clock management and things like that, but I've said it before, you go back to even the Alabama game and the way when the offense threw the interception there at the end and the defense took the field and said, man, we got you, we'll be all right. And you build it all the way up to last week, week 8, like we're down 2 scores when we're 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. And the offense takes the field, and literally it's like, Byron, one play at a time, got it. O-line, one play at a time, got it. Wideouts, just execute the play called, got it. There's no panic, there's no forcing to do something. That's a next play mentality rather than panicking and saying, man, like I got to go make a play. Well, once you start playing outside of the system, on either side of the ball, you start doing crazy things, which is what you're trying to eliminate. And you've tried to replicate that through camp, doing 2-minute drills and doing 4-minute drills and creating situations that you're putting guys into. But at the end of the day, you're trying to create really hard throughout the year, winter workouts, spring ball, summer, fall camp. You're trying to create hard so when it's hard in a game, it doesn't feel hard. And I think that's part of growth. I think it's part of maturity. I think it's part of building a program that whether you're up or down, you're just playing the next play. And I'm not saying you play with no emotion or you're robots, but I do think like momentum in a game is real, like momentum in football is real. So you go score, you got a little bit of juice. Now the defense has a little bit of juice, and now you're right back in it. So we've also been down and not been able to get out of it. You think UAB and FAU, like I don't know that our preparation was different or our play calls were worse or better, but we couldn't find a way to get out of those. And so as you go back and look at those, like why couldn't we? Well, purely execution. And so we executed last week, but we also practiced like that. Like our process was elite going into the UConn game. That's why 3 quarters in, I'm like, all right, like let's play the next play. If we could just get this thing going, we'll be all right. So I guess I try not to look at it super big picture, just in the flow of it, man, like what's working, what's not. And coaching too, like, man, like you keep calling the same play and getting a bad result, like call a different play, dude. Like it ain't rocket science, you know? So.
Alex, how far back do you go with Ryan Silverfield?
I've known Ryan forever. We crossed paths when he was leaving the Vikings, and I was at the University of Illinois. We sat and talked about the offensive line job there. You know, we have a bunch of mutual friends. He spent time at Toledo. I wasn't with him, and you know, I've had a bunch of really good friends on that previous Memphis staff. So just crossed paths a bunch, and.
Can you
Well,
talk about?
sorry, how much kind of respect do you have for what he's been able to do there, where he inherited a program that was winning at a high level, and he's been able to sustain it in his own way?
Yeah, I think probably in a lot of ways a lot harder than probably taking. I don't know what's harder. Walked into a situation down the road where I was on a staff that took over an undefeated team. You know, so I saw the challenges that brought, and I've been through a situation like we walked into here, where you take over a program that's struggling. So it's hard to say which one's harder. Both present really, really tough challenges. I think he obviously took over a situation that his first game was the Cotton Bowl, you know, so it presents its own challenges because you've got an expectation that you have to uphold at all times, and it hasn't been easy for him either. Like, you know, like you're not allowed to struggle. I know, like I was on social media last night too. Like you're not allowed to struggle because you're getting attacked from every level. But I think you knew what you signed up for. Obviously, he was prepared for that opportunity and had been around some really good coaches. I got a ton of respect for Mike Norvell and what he built there, and obviously he was a part of that in a big way. And so obviously he was prepared for it. He's handled the ups and the downs and what the recruiting is, and in some ways that job is tough because you've got to uphold a standard that's been set there, and they've continued. I think what I read 10 straight bowl games. Like that's hard to do anywhere, especially in this era of transfer portal and all of that. But they've done a really good job recruiting. They've done a really good job in the portal. He's had staff turnover. He's had to make tough changes when he felt like it was right. So I've got a bunch of respect for what they do. Like you flip the film on. Like I always evaluate if guys are bought into coaching by literally flipping the film. Are they playing hard, and do they look like they know what they're doing? Like that football team plays hard and they know what they're doing. So.
Can you talk about how impressed you've been with Byram and what you expect from him this weekend?
Yeah, Byram, you know, I continue to be amazed by him just continuing to push through. To be honest with you, he probably played his worst game at UConn. I thought the first 3 quarters he was really rushed. I said it after the game, and going back and looking at the film, he was really rushed. I thought he was trying to force a lot of things. I thought he went through his progressions really in an awkward way. I thought his feet didn't get settled. What continues to impress me with him is what he's like when he comes off the field. Like there's never a panic. There's never panic is the word. Like what'd you see? He'll tell you every time. He'll tell you the truth of what he saw, and he's usually right in what he saw, and then he'll say, man, that's what I saw, and then I didn't do the right thing. So what he's done for us is created a stability offensively where guys believe in him, guys trust him, the other side of the ball trusts him, and I think a lot of that is the toughness part. The fact that we've been able to run him and he just continues to, knock on wood again, Brian, make it out healthy. Like he is, for being 19 years old and being a redshirt freshman, there's like this level of moxie would maybe be the word that it's really hard to find in recruiting. It's really hard to coach. Like you kind of either have it or you don't. So he's, and I've said it a bunch now about him, like you build a program around somebody like that, who is tough, who's smart, who's easy to coach because there's no ups and downs. It's the same guy every day. Comes in every Monday and brings the same sour straws in because he knows that'll make my Monday afternoon. And he allows you to coach him. He's so easy to communicate with. And I've been fortunate to be around some really, really awesome quarterbacks lately that are like very similar to him in terms of how they communicate, their temperament. And he's so competitive. You see it in the way he runs the football. You see it in the way he stands in the pocket at times and delivers the ball. You're like, man, like this dude is uber competitive and tough and smart. Like, get 120 of them cats, like you got a shot. And so what we expect from him this week would be to take another step in his growth. Be calm in the pocket, control the offense, put the ball where it's supposed to go, don't force anything, and give us a chance to win, which is what a quarterback's job is.
You've been talking about health. You expect to have some guys back this week after the bye?
Yeah, I most certainly do. Kilfoyle was full go today, which was awesome to see. Zane Herring was back, and he's been banged up. That last week was awesome for him. Kelly Joyner practiced full go today, which was awesome to see. Trying to think. Who's that?
Chafre?
Oh, Chaffrey. Yeah, Chaffrey was running around full speed today. Yeah, it's really good to have Chop back. And he was like in a true emergency situation last week, but he'll be ready to roll and feels really good. Yeah, honestly, again, Brian, I need you one more time here. Probably as healthy as we've been since the start of the season.
Alex, there's been a lot of talk about sign stealing the last couple weeks. With as fast as you guys go, is that a concern at all?
Man, I'd be really arrogant to say it's not, but it's really hard with as fast as we go. Obviously, we've got mechanisms to. I saw some Halloween costumes that are pretty good, but we've got mechanisms to try to continuously change where it's coming from, how it's communicated. Man, we work really hard, especially in the off season, to create plans for how that's going to go. So really, really hard, defensively in the same boat, but it'd be crazy to say that it's not happening. I think any good staff probably is, as you should be, because what's allowed in college, you can steal whatever signs you want. So as fast as we go offensively, it's harder than you want it to be, but I'd be totally arrogant to say that it doesn't happen or people aren't trying, but I've also seen jack people up trying and then trying to get the right call in, and then people aren't lined up, and usually that's to our advantage. So,
Coach, you mentioned the roller coaster that you guys go through. Fans online go through the roller coaster emotion supporting you guys. What's the message you want to give them to get their support for the rest of the season?
our fans have had a roller coaster here? Ma'am. Well, I would appreciate their support, and I think our players do. I do think our home crowds, like especially, and I always say it, and I'm not being tacky about it, like to look up and that student section be packed, like you talk about momentum and energy in a stadium, like that's really, really awesome. Our students have been incredible. I think our fans should be encouraged by the fact that we have continued to grow. Our kids play really hard, and continue to pour into them, both from a show up to the game standpoint, to what it looks like on social media, to supporting our collective. Like you want to get better, show up to the stadium, create an incredible game atmosphere, support the collective. I think that combination to recruits is really impressive. It's still a talent acquisition game, and so the better players you have, the better chance you got to win. Fans are directly actually able to help with that at this point. But I think if you're not seeing us lay a foundation for what's gonna be a high-end college football program, you're crazy. So I'm not calling fans crazy, but if they don't see it, maybe a little bit.
When you took over, you're, initially just trying to get this thing going in the right direction, win some games. Now you sit here at 4-4 with a realistic chance at the postseason. Obviously, big fans are excited about that, dreaming about what could happen. Is there a new thing to manage for you? Because, we haven't turned any corner. We're not, got to stick with what got us here. Is that at all something you have to talk to the players about just let's focus on where we are, not get ahead of ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely, Joey. You talked about it on Monday, like ahead of nothing, like this week, only thing that matters. But it was that way when we were 3-2, that way when we were 0-1. It's going to be that way when at some point in this program we're 12-0. Like, worry about this week. We'll worry about the rest later. 'Cause I think as soon as you start, your mind starts going all over the place. You play that way. Like, talk about making the important things the important things. The important thing today is today's practice, how I watch the practice, what I learn from it, how I treat my body, what I put into my body. Tonight's Halloween. Can I keep my happy butt at home? Be really smart because I got to be ready to go tomorrow morning at 7:25. It's the only thing that matters. And easy to say, I think really hard to do at 18 to 20, whatever, 4, 30 for one of them. but man, it's like the biggest challenge we have. It's the biggest challenge we have as adults, like worried about things that don't matter, right? Like, worry about right now. Like, work as hard as you can, as long as you can, and treat people the right way, the same way. And I'm not perfect, but certainly try to be. It's easier said than done at the end of the day, but worry about this week. Like, if you worry about something past Memphis, you're gonna get your butt waxed.
Anything else, Coach?
All right.
Thank you, guys. Go Bulls.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Alright guys, we got Naquan going. And after Naquan, we'll have Tramel Logan.
Naquan, 2 quick questions. From a physical standpoint, you've taken a beating for 8 games. Was the bye week just what you needed to get healthy?
Yeah, the bye week was perfect. You know what I mean? Came at the right time. Feel refreshed. Was able to hit the ground running today, get some more banging going on today. I'm a guy that loves banging, though, so, you know what I mean?
You have 2 weeks to get ready for Memphis. How important is that from a preparation standpoint that you get to know the opponent more than 4 days?
It's very important, very helpful. We've been going over the game plan since last week, so we've been getting the edge on those guys. We just all got to come together and execute. That's what it's going to boil down to.
Thank you.
Naquan, I know this doesn't specifically apply to you because you were elsewhere, but for the guys who've been here, that they have gone a long time without winning on the road, and now you guys have won twice on the road, and now you face another road game. Can that sort of thing build confidence? Do you see this as a team that's learning how to do these things better, to go on the road and win games?
First, I'm going to correct you. What happened in the past is a part of me, too. I'm here now. Another thing is going on the road is winning is tough. You know what I mean? We just got to stick to our fundamentals, trust the coaching. They going to have their crowd, their fans. You know what I'm saying? We got our fans that's going to come out and bring that juice and energy, but we got to be prepared to go for 60 minutes.
What's the important thing for a player in terms of a road trip to make it successful? Is it just following a certain routine, or what do you do to kind of make sure that you're at your best in that situation?
Coach speak on process a lot, man. I just stick to my process and try to keep better in my process each week, you know what I mean, and get ready for the next opponent. So I really think, man, we just should trust our coaching, trust the play calling, and just go out there and execute, make our one-on-one plays.
Did the past 2 weeks give you a lot of confidence? I mean, you put up 100 yards consecutively. I know the winning was better than the losing one of those, but just do you feel like you've got got some momentum, got some rhythm going in your game?
I would say it all starts in practice with myself, man. These past couple weeks, we ain't been getting the result we want, but these past couple weeks, man, going way back, I just been practicing hard. You know what I mean? Getting my player load up there, getting my max speed up there. You know what I mean? Just doing those things in practice is gonna correlate to the game.
Naquan, you've had a couple of comeback or come from behind wins this season already. Some games you haven't been able to claw your way out of as well. What is the feeling like when you are down late in the game that it's able to, I guess, propel you guys to come from behind?
Really just, we go in practice. It starts in practice. I think like period 18 or something like that, coach say fourth quarter, bring everyone together, and we got to get each other going. We kind of have a song going, our team song. We bring that juice, and then it all starts in practice. So when we get to the game, we just feed off each other. We all salute one another, the guys that's on the field, to go out there and make the plays.
What's the song you guys have?
I'm not sure. It's about Lil Baby, though. I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. When you said like the past is a part of you now, like I guess that just kind of is telling to how close you guys are as a team. Can you touch on that maybe a bit?
It all started when the coaches first came in, man. We did a couple team activities that was very helpful to create that bond and that connection, man, because these are guys you're going to war with. You know what I mean? We only get limited opportunities, 12 guaranteed opportunities. So you got to make those count, and those are the guys. The guys in this building and the supporters are the guys we're going to work with every week. So, man, I think that's very special. You know what I mean? Just back when I was coming in, it was open arms. Those guys welcomed me. You know what I mean? Even though I came from another program, they still was open arms with me. They crazy part is I ain't really get too much questions about the past or where I was. They just welcomed me in, was ready for me to work.
Naquan, your leading receiver is Sean Atkins. He came to this program as a walk-on, and now he's in a position to maybe set some program records. You're on the field with him a lot. You see how he operates. What do you see from this guy that you like? What do you think allows him to have had so much success this season?
Sean is a very reliable guy, a leader by his actions. He come to work every day. He's a hard worker, man. That's one of the few guys I saw coming in. At first, you judge him a little bit. He don't really look up the part, but, man, that guy come to work every day. He put his head down and go to work. He motivated me to go to work, man. And then just hearing his story from a walk-on to a guy earned the scholarship, not making plays for a university, that is very huge, man.
You've been talking a lot about, finishing blocks and being better in pass pro, finishing some runs. Do you feel like you've kept that intensity up the last couple of weeks?
A little bit. At times I let it slip away. Just going back to the UConn game, we had a call to seal a win where the defense didn't have to get on the field, and I missed the block, man. Now, that wasn't like me. Kind of missed the block, judged it wrong. So I did a bad job. So I just continued to work in practice just to fine-tune the little things, man, finishing blocks and going to the clock saying 0.
For you, since you have played a lot of ball, is it really just small things that you got to fix here and there? Like you said, is that kind of where you're at now as an experienced player?
Yes, sir. I would say definitely got to fine-tune. Just finishing blocks, finishing runs, making the right reads, just looking at defense and seeing the rotations in the safeties and where it's coming from. Those things, that's where I'm taking my game at, too. Seeing the blitz actually before it comes. Trying to kind of skip a progression in the pass pro.
Hey, Quan, go back to Sean Atkins for a moment. You mentioned him as a leader. Is he one that raises his voice, or is he more lead by example with his work ethic?
Sean, a lead by example guy, his work ethic. He works extremely hard, man. Every day he comes in to work. One of the first guys in, last guys to leave. Every time I look to my left in the building during the season, he's in there watching some type of tape on the next opponent, man. That's a guy I respect. One of the guys I respect the most, man.
Anything else on the form? All right, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, y'all.
Thanks, Naquan.
Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Guys got a little bonus today, so Naquan with a little bonus action. Byram and Trammell are on their way as well. Should be here shortly. You also got to witness my audition for Ed McMahon.
Where's the doc?
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, we need some music, don't we? Thank you. Appreciate it. Ooh, this is a Halloween-ish. That's fresh out the press today, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Is either
Michael was walking Trammell down.
say so.
It's just an old sombrero, pretty much.
Yeah,
I've driven by, I've never been there.
I think it's mid-60s when it opens, so it's, you're right, it is
For
like
those
the
of you that
sombrero.
didn't see, Naquan's 186 is the most yards by anybody in the league this year. We've been talking about Sean Atkins a lot. He's within 16 catches, breaking the season record set by Rodney Adams of 67. Got a little work to do to catch Marquez's yardage total, which is 879. Pick up a couple, but he did have some 100-yard games late in the year last year, so certainly possible. Byram's coming in as 12th in the nation in total offense, leading the conference, and he is on pace to challenge Quick Flowers' total offense and possibly passing record if we get an extra game.
And we found out he was pretty good in the drive-through line too the other day, man.
They're doing the drive-through line.
Oh, I'll show you a video when we're done. You'll
What are you
laugh.
doing the drive-through line?
Oh, he was taking people's orders, man. We just shoot at
Where was this at?
Bole down in Southampton.
Okay.
I'll show you the video. You'll laugh.
Very good. Keep those NIL opportunities coming.
I know, man. Yeah.
He is one of 3 players in the country right now with 1,800 yards passing and 500 rushing. And he's on pace to join Flowers and Grothy as the only 3 players in our program history to put up 2,000 yards and 700 rushing in the same season. So, doing some unique things. And hopefully he gets to keep them here shortly. Sorry for the wait.
It's very weird.
All right, we'll start with Tremel Logan.
Yeah, y'all doing today?
Good.
Good.
Tremel, I'll ask you 2 quick questions. The first one, you've taken 8 weeks of beatings physically. Did the bye week come at the right time to get healthy?
Yeah, it did. It actually did. You know, I felt good coming off this bye week. We had days to rest. My body recovered, so that's less days going to work. So like, I feel like it came at the perfect time to head into November to get this the fight for these last 4 games.
You've had 2 weeks to get ready for Memphis. How important is that preparation now? Instead of 4 days, you've got basically 10, 11 days.
It was very important because we got a head start. Basically, an advantage. We were a week early, and they had to focus on another opponent while we could just focus on them for 2 weeks. So I felt like that was a very good start for us.
Thanks.
Memphis has been known for their stability at quarterback. You got to face Brady White, you know, back in 2020. You get a guy in Seth Hannigan who's, you know, difficult to defend as well, been in the program a long time. What makes that offense, and specifically a guy like Hannigan, tough to defend against?
I feel like any offense with an experienced quarterback is tough to deal against because of that, their experience and them being in the office for so long. But like the bye week helped us give an extra week to prepare and things like that. So I feel like that can help out on our side and our end.
How important is it going to be for you guys to make him uncomfortable on Saturday?
Very important. I feel like if we could throw them off their game and execute the way we're supposed to, like it should be like a good game for us defensively.
I'm sorry, what jumps out to you about the rest of this skill talent of that offense?
They have pretty good receivers. You know, good running backs that run hard. You know, they play pretty well as a unit. So yeah.
Tremel, during the previous years of your career here, winning on the road was something that just didn't happen. Now you've won 2 road games. You've got this one coming up. Do you think this team is better equipped to win on the road? Have you learned some things? Have you gained any confidence? Are you better positioned to go out and win away from Tampa?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, you know, by us winning those away 2 games, we know what that feeling's like. So I feel like, you know, we don't shook off the past couple of years not winning the away games and things like that. So we know what that feeling like. So I feel like we're going to be in situations that we're not new to. So it's just going to be us to, like, stay the course and go execute like we always do.
Coach Golesh was saying earlier that everybody thinks, oh, playing at home is great, and it is, but he thinks playing on the road can be great too, because it's just you're against everybody, you rally. Is there something about a road game that's fun?
Yeah, it definitely can turn me up and some of the players, like, just going into that atmosphere where they don't want you to win and don't want you to, succeed. So it's like that's an extra fuel. So it's like you just adding fuel to the fire, and it's like, okay, that's enough. You feel me? And it's like we proving them wrong in front of their fans. Get no better than that.
What about the defense? The way you played the last time out was much better than what you put on the field the previous weeks. What changed? What did you guys do better? And what are you going to build on to maintain that level the rest of the way?
Like I say, it was a lot of guys was banged up. We kind of went about the wrong way and things like that. But like we know how it looks when we practicing at a high level and what it looked like on game day. So it's just on us to like stay on that course, like pour into our process, keep it the same. Like if it's working for you, if it's not, change it up. So I feel like if we stay on the process we've been doing on the defense those weeks where we had success on the field on Saturday, I feel like we'll be good this week if we head into it the same way, same mentality.
Ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Orlando was saying a few weeks ago that you're a veteran, you come in, you got a new coaching staff, and there's a little bit of a time where you figuring out who these guys are, buying in. What was your process like of getting to know these guys, trusting them? Following what they were telling you to do? Was there bumps in the road, or how did it work for you?
It wasn't really pretty much bumps in the road. Like I looked at it as like, okay, I want to see like what's their vision for the program and how they're gonna go about it. And when they first got here, and I liked it, So I was like, I'm willing to go to war with them. Like they came here, got good coaches. So it's like, and I like how they was going about it and teaching us things. So it was like, yeah, like this what I need. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Byron is a little bit delayed, so I'll leave it up to you all. He's going to be about another 10 to 15 minutes to come down. If y'all want to wait, we can do that. Or if y'all want to go, just let me know what you want to do. If you want to wait, he will be here. You're going to be here anyway. All right. Sorry for the delay there. Yeah.
A couple references to like
I don't know. They've just been the rock all year long.
yeah, well that's part for the course, and I'm not saying that he's an insult to anyone. But okay. There's nothing like
No, they're just
there's just
a lot of them are. I mean, there's renderings with these. There's a lot of them. Their underwear not being clean. They're always
no. Okay. I was first of all I'm trying to do a better job of staying on.
yeah.
And trying to do a better job. We just have trying to be a better job. Trying to be a better husband and father and ignore the other. And it sounds like I didn't feel that. Did I miss something? I didn't miss any one of the all right. Now I have because obviously